I actually like that music. I need my own theme song. My friend says he's going to make a theme song. Q, what's going on?
Good morning, everybody. Now we welcome the man, the myth, the legend.
It's me, apparently. It's Sean Shapiro. I am VoiceoverCop. I am a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on social media answering your traffic and police questions Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So what have we got for you today? We have what we have for you every day, which is more of a great thing. We are quite literally doing a show that is based on the questions you ask us. So if you have questions, ask them. That's how this all works. Now, there's one thing that I do want to get out of the way, and I want to talk about Vision Zero, at least the Vision Zero Enforcement Unit, VZET, or actually, sorry, Vision Zero Enforcement Team. See, I mess things up once in a while. That happens. So the Vision Zero Enforcement Team is in 11 and 41 Division today. If you're in Toronto, that means something, and if you're not, it might not. What is the Vision Zero Enforcement Team? They're a dedicated group of officers, and I believe there's 18 of them right now, that go out and go into a division based on analytics, based on intelligence-led policing, and tell us where there is need for greater enforcement. Different place every day, and we announce that on Twitter at Traffic Services every morning. So, what happens? Well, they go there and they give tickets out for offenses that classify as the big four. That's speeding, aggressive driving, impaired driving, distracted driving, all of those things that lead to serious injury and death on our roads. That's what they do, and they do a great job of it, and we're happy to have them as part of the team. So if you're watching on Instagram Live, know that there is a Q&A function, and that's how you get to me. If you want me to answer your question, use the Instagram Live Q&A function. That's the little question mark in the bubble. If you're watching on TikTok, there is a bubble just like that for Q&A. Use that, otherwise I won't see it. Why? Because there are so many people in the chat. 504 in our chat in TikTok right now. Welcome to everybody. And if you don't know me, my name is Sean Shapiro, Police Constable with the Toronto Police Service. And if you're on Instagram, you got a bunch of people there. And we have folks jumping in on Twitch. Good morning from Pro Football Craze. Mike Quinn coming in from LinkedIn. Sean Chen reporting for duty. He's coming in from YouTube. And you know what? It's the gang. Oh, Croissant, good morning to you. Yeah, coming in from Twitch. We are currently broadcasting on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, TikTok, what else did I say? Facebook, Instagram Live. We're everywhere. Q wants to know if Sean is jumping in to guest on the show today as the guest moderator. So Sean is with the Vision Zero Youth Network. He is a student in Ontario who is passionate about traffic safety and got involved with the Vision Zero Youth Network, which is educating his peers, his other students at his school. And you're on social media. He does all that. Lots of great stuff. And you know what? We're talking about it now. Sean you're 15, right, Sean? I'm not outing you as a 15-year-old, but 15 is cool guy. We play some Call of Duty on Twitch. Anyway. He's blushing next. I'm talking about him. Okay. Akela Dracona is coming in on YouTube. Says, I'll be late. Monday tailgate meeting first. What? What are we talking about here? Okay. Let's jump into things. Q, everything good to go? Any reason we should slow our roll? We are good. Okay, fantastic. Q is one of our moderators, and let me just address the whole moderator thing. We have moderators. They are volunteers. They are not police officers. They are not paid members of the service, and they come in on a daily basis and help keep it classy in the chat. What does that mean? Well, it means that sometimes things get rowdy in the chat. Sometimes people are rude, or they choose to spam chat questions. Well, they will mute you, because that's what they do. They keep it classy. We got a question, or I just saw that the Safe Driver popped in. He's a YouTuber. Are you a YouTuber? No, he's a blogger, a podcaster. He is a master of many things, including teaching driving instructors to be driving instructors. He's a safe driver on TikTok. You should check him out. He's one of our moderators too. And if you've got questions about learning to drive, he's the best guy to ask. Okay. Last date to get license plate stickers. Jumping right into the questions on TikTok. So the deal is that if your license or license plate sticker expired from March 1st, 2020 or later, you're covered under an extension that covers you up until February 28th, which is only 29 days away. So it's not the last date to get them. You should get them now. You shouldn't have waited this long because there's no discount for waiting. There is, however, the last date that you will be covered under the exemption is the 28th, because come March 1st, tickets will be written. So good to ask. I'm glad you brought it up. It's good to share the news. When I get pulled over, what I got to pull up. So when you get pulled over by a police officer in Ontario, you'll likely get a demand for license ownership and insurance. So you have to produce your actual driver's license, the actual plastic card, because we don't have an electronic alternative at the moment. You have to pull up an original or a photocopy, a true copy if it's photocopy, both sides of a ownership document, a permit. So there's two halves. There's a vehicle permit and there's a plate permit, and they come together. Unless you sell the car, you rip it apart. Anyway, green paper if it's the original. If it's a photocopy, it has to be a copy of an original that's valid. And then last but not least, you can produce proof of insurance, which can be electronic or paper, the pink slip. And that's it. But you have to produce it. If you don't, you can be charged under the Highway Traffic Act for failing to surrender any one of those three. Why is people in Canada so rude? I'm going to edit on the fly that. I don't think you're talking about the right country. In Canada, we're known for being ridiculously polite. So unless you're talking about our geese, because as Q often reminds me, our geese are rude. They attack for no reason. Ashton Stein says, good morning, my favorite officer. Well, thank you, Ashton. You almost got me to say that you're my favorite moderator. You're one of my favorite moderators. I'm not showing favoritism here, but thank you for the good morning. And laws around business meetings during COVID, you need to follow the guidelines on the Ontario.ca website. I imagine it's all listed there as to what stage we're at. We're changing today. I think things have changed today in regards to COVID restrictions in Ontario, but I have not read the details, so I can't give you any information. This is a great question, and it suggests you've been around for a long time, because about 25 years ago when I was a kid, you very often you'd get a ticket and you'd have a period of time to produce your driver's license. However, that's no longer the case. If you don't produce your driver's license, there's no 24-hour waiting period. There's no exemption. You committed the offense the moment you didn't surrender it. There's no reason to bring it later, because we can check that you have a driver's license. The offense is failing to surrender it upon demand. So once you've done that, you've committed the offense. And there's no taking it back. Mad Hatter Mafia says, I'm totally your favorite. I don't think we've ever commented to one another before. Why did my camera just do a weird exposure thing? What happened there? Why is this? Oh, I don't like this. How do I fix this? Okay. Why did my head is now glowing? What's going on here? I touched something on the screen and okay, hang on. No, why is this?
You swipe the filter.
I swiped the filter? I can't. There's no filter swiping here. I can't swipe anything. All right, we're moving on, and I'm glowing in the dark. What happens if I press this? Enhance. What's it going to do? Ooh, filter. Oh, here, it's a new filter. No, it's not. It's exposure. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, how do you get it back to normal? Oh, this is terrible. Okay. Boy, this has got distracting. G5, G6, what is this? V1. Oh, it can be black and white. This is terrible. How do I fix this? How do I undo? Is there an undo? Okay, this is really bad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The camera gone crazy. Okay. Am I allowed to drive with prescription goggles? Maybe they would have the exposure work on this camera again. Prescription goggles, they're goggles. Are you driving with goggles like in your car or on a motorcycle? But sure, if they're prescription, what would be the issue? Even if they're not prescription, there's no law that says you can't have goggles. They can't obscure your vision. If they're helping you see, then that's a good thing. What are the rules on MJ? I'm assuming you mean marijuana and driving. It's illegal. It's a drug, and if you're under the influence of a drug or alcohol, you can be charged for impaired operation offenses, and that is criminal. So you lose your license for 90 days. You get your vehicle impounded. All sorts of things happen. It's a bad day at the office. Good morning, Alan, coming in from Twitch. Sean, how am I making mods cry today? Is it? Jesse HFX coming in from Twitch. Thank you. Let's see here. Always drive with Michael Jackson, Ryan Pin coming in from YouTube. What's going on, Ryan? I was just watching your video this morning. Was it this morning? I think it was this morning. Part of my morning routine was going through and searching TikTok for stuff and you showed up in my feed. It was good. Sean, I'm not picking favorites. Okay, but I was having fun. Okay, let's see. Are taillight tints illegal? So your taillights are kind of important pieces of equipment. They're important because they notify others as to what is going on your vehicle, as to whether you are slowing down or speeding up, the standard stuff. And they're really important. So what's the deal? The deal is that if you tint them and they make them less effective, they're not discernible at 150 meters. And what happens then? You get a ticket for having improper taillights. You can't tint your headlights. If you tint your taillights, you may end up with a ticket. Now, here's the thing that I would love to ask. If you are watching on any of the platforms, please share our live with your friends, your family, people you care about, people you don't care about, but anyone you think would get benefit out of sharing or seeing the content that we provide. We're here to answer your questions, and we do it for an hour a day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you're watching on Instagram Live or on TikTok, double tap, 150, maybe 300 times on your screen to show the algorithm that you like what's going on. It is always helpful. But sharing that live is the greatest good you can do. People really appreciate a personal reference, and I appreciate if you would share it with your friends because we want to help as many people as possible. Now, before things get underway, I know people are going to ask me about what's happening with the truckers and my thoughts. I'm not getting political on it. I'm political enough talking about laws that people don't like. I'm not going to start talking about other things. I am Switzerland when it comes to this trucker situation. Not my job to talk about it. And I know that upsets some people, but it's just what it is. Is it legal to leave a hitch on your truck in Ontario? Yes, it is, as long as it doesn't obscure your license plate or obstruct your license plate in any way. I just remove that one. Here we go. Can you drive on the highway with a G2? Absolutely you can. Your G2 allows you to drive anywhere in Ontario or anywhere in North America. You can drive interprovincially. You can drive into the States with your G2, but you must follow all of your conditions. That's the only thing. All your conditions are still in play. Is it illegal walking on the street with no sidewalk? No, it's not illegal. You should walk you should walk into traffic, not into traffic, but counter flow. So you want to be walking on the curb off the side of the road or to the side of the road facing traffic so you can see them. But don't walk into the path of traffic. That would be suboptimal. Flashing lights to coming cars about what? Flashing lights to coming cars about police. I don't know what I don't understand your question, but please rephrase it because I'd love to understand it. And flashing, you want to notify others about, so what do you want to know about it? Is it legal? It's improper use of your headlights if you use your high beams to flash other vehicles. Is it specifically illegal to notify other vehicles about police presence? No, but using your headlights to do it would be technically illegal. And to what benefit? If you tell people where the police are, they change their behavior temporarily, and they may not get caught for doing what they're doing, but ultimately you're preventing or promoting unsafe driving, unsafe streets, and you could be resulting in someone dying. Is it because of your, warning someone about police? Maybe they need to be caught. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Need more education on private stunt laws. I'm getting blasted for telling about new laws on Facebook. What should we say? Well, ultimately, you cannot stunt drive. So prior to September 12th, 2021, there was not the ability to lay charges for stunt driving did not extend to private property. However, that changed on that day, on September 12th. And now stunt driving, like intentional loss of traction, drifting, donuts, speeds of 150 kilometers an hour. What else? Driving with somebody in your trunk. All these things are now covered and chargeable or enforceable on private property. So they shouldn't be jumping down your throat, but tell them to watch here. We've got lots of videos on it on our main page. In fact, if you go onto our TikTok or even in our, I don't know how easily you'll be able to find it on Instagram. It just doesn't sort the same way. But we have playlists on TikTok, and we have all that stuff covered. Hey, for anyone who doesn't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable who's currently improperly exposed on TikTok. So if you're watching there, I'm all my forehead is blasting white. I'm not usually that color, but it's improperly exposed. Anyway, the camera went wonky. I don't know what happened. But I am Sean Shapiro, and I am a police constable, and I am on TikTok and other social media platforms answering your traffic and police questions. So if you've got questions, use the Q&A function, and I will try and answer them today. We're here till 10 o'clock doing this thing that we do. Okay. What do we got here? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Ryan Pin had a student ask if you could tint their headlights. This weekend said, I know this. Yeah, well, in Ontario, there's a charge for covering or tinting your headlights. And at the end of the day, anything that prevents you from seeing is a bad thing. That's why tinted windshields are also bad. But you can't project light other than white or yellow under the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario. So that's a thing. Okay. And we're going to keep it going. If my car comes with valved exhaust from factory, like if you have a Corvette, I think they have a track mode and then bypasses. I don't know how they get around having the bypass, because if you put cutoffs or cutouts or bypasses in your exhaust, they're illegal. Maybe because it's controlled by a track mode that you can't use, or it's only for track. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But those are illegal to install into a vehicle. I've been tapping my forehead. You can tap it; it'll like the page. But they've changed something in the most recent version of the software. So it used to be you could slide right and left, and you would be able to change your filter. Now it's a button at the bottom that says Effects or Enhance, and I can't change anything. Let's see. Yeah, I can't do it, and it's locked out now. So I'm just gonna live with it, and we'll try again next time for proper exposure. But thank you very much for the tip. Can I? This is a great question. Can I drive with a G1 with someone who's booked their G? So not only can you not drive with someone who's booked their G, because that would make them a G2, you can't drive someone with that has an actual G, that passed their G, unless they have 4 years experience as a G2 or combined with G and G2. So no, you cannot. And if you are caught driving with someone who does not have their G with 4 years experience, then you can expect to have a ticket for drive unaccompanied. Additionally, you would get a 30-day suspension on your first conviction, a 90-day suspension on your second, and you'd be kicked out of the what's it called, graduated licensing program on your third conviction for doing just that. I drive a decommissioned cruiser. Any issues? Not unless you're trying to pass yourself off as a police officer. Listen, a Crown Victoria was sold to people other than police. A Ford Explorer is sold to people other than police. If you're adding whip antennas, push guards, flashing lights, suddenly you're starting to bridge the gap of trying to look like a police officer. And if you put stickers that say anything like a police officer or police vehicle, you're probably going to get negative attention. So be wary. That's not advisable. Not only because it's illegal, but because some people don't like the police. And I'm assuming you're not carrying firearms or body armor to defend yourself when people who don't like police decide to attack you. So I would suggest against doing anything that would bridge that gap. Okay. Tap and hold your head to adjust exposure. Tap and hold? No, it's not working. Although I can like myself. That's weird. I'm actually liking my own. That's weird. I can like my own life now. I don't know why, but I cannot adjust exposure. Okay, moving on. Got my G2. What is this? Got my G2. I am not insured. Can I drive my dad's car? Well, if your dad's car is insured, the vehicle is insured. You don't get driver insurance. You get vehicle insurance in Ontario. So yes, you can technically drive from a legal perspective. However, if you are living with your parent, then in the same household, the insurance companies often want you to be listed on the policy. So if you're not listed on the policy, that's a problem. And you could, in fact, be found to be not insured or not covered, and they can deny your claim because they may have a policy that says you must be listed on the policy if you live together. If you don't live together, you're probably just fine. Okay. I will... Jabber's back. Okay, hang on a second. I'll get to your question. We covered that. Okay, so in response to the stunt driving on private property, you did tell them to check us out, but got ugly by FB lawyers. I had to... Really? Facebook lawyers, they're everywhere. Okay, Abrar Motala says, are headlight tints... We just covered that. No, headlight tints are not legal. Okay. Can people report vehicles with blindingly bright headlights? If so, where would we report it? If you're in the city of Toronto, you could report it. That it is a violation to have headlights that are not legal temperature or brightness. So you could report it. You could do that by way of our website. We have something called CORE, the Citizen Online Report Entry, www.torontopolice.on.ca/CORE, and you could make a report there. And it'll be an actual police report. And I don't, whether or not we hunt them down for actually having those headlights, but at least we'd have it on file. We'd be able to make note and write them a letter saying, hey, your headlights aren't legal. They were seen at this date and time. Fix them. Okay. Now going into to Jabber. Hey, Sean, I got a question you most likely won't know, but I crossed the border a few weeks ago. But I went into the wrong lane, the Nexus one. I got searched at customs, but no one ever took my passport or asked my name. I think there was a mix-up on both border officers assumed that the other would take it. Does it raise an issue? I don't know. You're absolutely right. I don't know. But it was on them to ask. So if they permitted you entry into the country, that was up to them. I don't think obviously you went in the wrong lane and they may be unhappy with you. But in terms of not using your passport, I don't think so. You could call them, but they let you in, so you're here. Okay. Ruslan wants to know, can there be other passengers in the back seat with G1 driving with the full G in the passenger seat with more than 4 years? Yes, you can have passengers, especially people ask all the time, can I take my kids while I'm learning to drive? Yeah, you're allowed to drive. As long as they're, and Q confirms and says, as long as there are seatbelts for them, you can carry them. Christopher Brown wants to know, what's your coffee order at Tim Hortons? I am 2 cream. 2 cream is how I take my coffee. It's just I stopped taking sugar a long time ago, and I can drink black, but like a little cream. A little cream's nice. Okay. Can I drive to the speed limit 0 to 40 kilometers an hour fast or quickly? There's no specific law that says you can't. However, if you're doing your 0 to 60 or 0 to 40 hammer down test to see what your acceleration is, that might be seen as stunt driving. It might be seen as racing, even if you're just racing the clock. It's generally an unsafe practice. So I would say don't do it because chances of you being investigated are high. Chances of you being charged are possible. Okay. Jabber, no apology required. It's a good question. I just don't have an answer for you other than what I gave you. Okay. How serious are the new snow vehicle laws? Good question. I have no idea because I don't use those snow vehicles, nor do I study them because they're not used in Toronto. So things I'm often asked that I've not yet spent time researching. And snowmobiles, I've never been on a snowmobile, so I really have no frame of reference. That was from Jilly 91. Okay. Is it illegal for a car to shoot flames? Well, yeah, I would say yeah. Shooting flames, probably not something that is a good idea. But chances are it's because modifications were made and you have unspent fuel in your exhaust system, which means either you're intentionally putting it there or at very least you're intentionally igniting it. So why is that an issue? If you're doing it by way of modifying your vehicle, you are actually creating an issue for the what's it called? Oh, I just tip of my tongue. What's it called? Environmental Protection Act. You're modifying the way your system works to dump fuel into the environment, and that's not okay. So I don't know what I'd charge you with, but I'd find something. Can you smoke Christmas trees in public parking lot? No drive after. You cannot smoke marijuana in a car that's parked. You cannot consume drugs or alcohol in a vehicle, period. Doesn't matter whether you drive or not. Just consuming it in a car, your care control, so you'd be impaired driving or impaired operation because you're in control of that vehicle. What is the bounds of the OPP? The OPP have the bounds of the province of Ontario. Jurisdictionally, we handle the city, but they are police officers everywhere in the province, as are we, even though we focus on our jurisdiction or the city that we police. Can DOT search your car for mods? Can we do a search for mods? Police can do a search of your vehicle for an inspection, for mechanical inspection. So yeah, we can. And if you refuse, then there's a ticket for refusing. Okay. Why can't I book my G test for August? I don't know. Is it full? Maybe there's no dates available. My suggestion would be to check every morning 5 a.m. and start every 10 minutes after that, and also check outside of the area you normally would be booking for, because you never know where you might find a test. I've heard of people driving 8 hours to get a test. That's not an endorsement of what you should do. It's just something that I've been told can be effective. How do I go from a G1 to a G2 then a full G? Ty wants to know. Well, first of all, G1 is your learner's permit. You apply for it, and then you have 8 months to a year. 8 months if you have an official driver's course, approved driving course, then you can take your G2 test. If you don't take an approved driving instruction course, you have to wait a year. Then you take a road test that you book online and go in. The driving test, if you're successful, will get you a G2, and then you have a year to drive and get experience until you can apply and take a test for your G, at which point you've finished the program. And congratulations. But that's how it works. Go to drivetest.ca, get all the information. Okay. I meant driving with snow in your vehicle. Now I don't. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can see what. I can't see what your last question was. Driving with snow in your vehicle. Oh. Yeah, I didn't get your question. Okay, driving with snow in your vehicle. If it's blocking your new snow requirements. Oh, they're not new snow requirements. You can't block your front windshield. You have to have view to the rear, whether it be by mirror or by rear window. And then if you have snow on top of your vehicle, it's a contested, whether or not this is the most applicable law. But by my reading of it, it is, and that would be insecure load. Because as I read insecure load, and I was talking about this last night, so it's tip of my tongue, and I'm glad to bring it up. Let me pull this up here because I love it because it's right here. Insecure. So insecure load, which is section 111 sub 2 of the Highway Traffic Act and has a $160 fine, says no person shall operate or permit to be operated upon a highway a motor vehicle that carries a load or draws a vehicle that carries a load unless the load is loaded, bound, secured, contained, or covered so that no portion of the load may become dislodged or fall, leak, spill, or blow from the vehicle. I think that covers snow. Not everyone agrees with me. But the courts can determine whether or not that conviction will stand. Anyway, moving along. So yeah, clear your snow. It's for everyone's sake. Like your stuff blows off your car or truck and damages somebody else's stuff. You're ultimately responsible. Good morning, Neon. What's happening? Even though he was saying hello to Q, not me, but yeah, it's all good. Morning, Big Jeff Fresh. How you doing? Okay. I missed you earlier. I missed Jeff in the lineup. Okay. Did we find that officer doing donuts in the parking lot? I believe they were identified. I believe that's investigated or being taken care of by their unit. I'm not involved with that, so I don't know the outcome. But it was definitely investigated, and I believe they were identified. Okay. Let's see here. Could I drive with an Alberta Class 7 in Ontario? If an Alberta Class 7 means you have a full license, then yes. If it means you have it's a G1. So G1, no. Thank you for clarifying, Q. A Class 7 is a G1, and no, you couldn't. You would be required. And you'd have to be, so Alberta, I think, has 14 for a Class 7. You have to be 16 to drive in Ontario, period. So even if you had a license and were under the age of 16, you couldn't. However, you would be able to. Can you do that, Akela? I didn't know you could catch up at double speed. I didn't know that was a function. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah. So learner's permit where you have to be supervised is not valid outside of your province. Is there a time where you could legally speed on a racetrack? That's the only time you can legally speed, unless you're a police officer, fire, truck driver, or fire vehicle driver, not just trucks, or an ambulance, a paramedic. That's it. Okay. Is a straight pipe exhaust legal? No, it's not. And for a multitude of reasons, it's not legal because you need to have a straight pipe in a vehicle that was manufactured in the days before emission systems were required equipment could drive. But anything that was manufactured with an exhaust system in a time where exhaust was mandated, then no. So that's the answer is no. You can't modify it. You can't cut your cats out. You can't cut your muffler or your resonator out. It's all those things are required hardware, and that's that. That's that. Okay. So we covered this. Let's see here. Stop for school bus if there's an island in between. So it's divided or undivided highway. An island in one, 4-meter block is not an undivided highway. It would have to be, is not a divided highway. It would have to be an extensive period of road that would change the designation. If you're at an intersection where there's like 4 meters of island, that to me is not divided. If there is a division by way of a wall or grassy space in between, making it a divided highway, you don't have to stop in both directions, only the same direction. You can't pass them. However, if it was undivided, just a painted line dividing the two directions of traffic, then you would have to stop in both directions when the lights are flashing and they come to a stop and then a sign comes out. The sign is not the required piece of the puzzle. As soon as they're stopped and the lights are active, you have to stop.
Halton Police in chat.
Halton Police in chat. How's it going, Halton Police? Welcome to our live. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and happy to have you in the house. Is this the house? In the live? I don't know. Brandon Looney Tunes fans 2000 says, "Hey, what's up, Doc?" My really lame Looney Tunes attempt. But I watched a TikTok video where a flight attendant did the entire announcement all in Looney Tunes character speak. It was fantastic. Even though some of them needed a tweak. Better than I can do. Is purple underglow legal? Underglow is not specifically legal or illegal. However, if it's installed in a way that the bulbs are visible, it could result in charges. And so it depends. I would say private property use only. Purple's not a prohibited color, but doing anything that could, distract other drivers is just not a good idea, and may result in you being ticketed and charged if you're projecting that light forward or back as opposed to directly down. So bulbs should not be visible as a very start. So Brandon Looney Tunes fans 2000 says, "I have 315 subs." Well, congratulations on your subs. I'll have to check out your page. I assume you do the voice. Is that what you do, or is it clips? Let us know. Is it illegal to have a spotlight on your vehicle? Not illegal to have it, illegal to use it if you're driving and using it. And of course, you can't blind people with it, but if you're using it off-road, it's not an issue. Does officer attend trial traffic ticket given in 2020? We are compelled to go to court. We are given a notice to attend court. If we don't show up just because we don't feel like it, we can be documented, and that's a thing. So you have to... we have to attend unless there's a reason. We're caught on a call, there's an emergency, we're sick, just like anybody else. But generally speaking, we do attend. And we can attend virtually now. We can attend electronically. So expect your officer to be there. Can the MTO pull over on a highway? Can they pull over or pull you over? MTO doesn't deal with anything but commercial vehicles. I imagine they might have cause to, if they saw something falling off your car, you might want to listen to them because they might have some very important information for you. But at the same time, they don't have authority over. They don't enforce speeding. They don't do anything. They're not police officers. But they might have very important information for you. So whether you pull over for them or not is a different story. They don't have authority to pull. The commercial vehicles, absolutely they do. People want to know about what I think of mandates and convoys. I don't talk about that stuff. This is about policing outside of that and, traffic stuff. Our focus is traffic because we are traffic services. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we talk about traffic and policing from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Monday to Friday. We want to answer your questions. So whether it's in the Q&A here, Q&A on our regular page, we get through them slowly but surely, and comments. We try and interact with you on all our videos that we post. But that's what we do, and we do it because we like doing it, and we want to inform and share the knowledge. We want you to know stuff before you do stuff so you don't end up getting yourself into trouble. Okay. Is it possible to see what someone is charged with or if they're wanted, or is that not public record? So no, generally speaking, you cannot search and find out what someone's charged with as a civilian. As a police officer, when we run somebody through records, we would find out what the story is. But as a civilian, no, you generally can't. If they want to pull up and get a background check and share that with you, then that's a different story. How is Brandon doing? Brandon is no longer at Traffic Services. He's transferred to a police division to get some different flavor of policing. And as far as I know, he's doing well. But thanks for checking up on him, Ashton. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Emergency vehicles on the 401 question mark. I don't know what the rest of your question is. Yes, that happens. Okay, I will take care of that queue. Let's see, we've got lots of stuff, a lot of moving parts here. What is the pass percent for tint? Well, I've got a great video on TikTok about all of the requirements for tint, but something it doesn't cover is I cover the requirements under law for installation for getting your safety, vehicle safety. You cannot have more than 30% light blockage in the windows directly left and right of the driver. That is true. When it comes to policing, even if that legal tint for installation is there, you're not allowed to obscure the interior of your vehicle. So if we can't identify the driver, even if it's a legal volume of tint, no more than 30%, but it's dark outside and we can't see in, that's still a violation, just so everyone's aware. You cannot tint anything on the front windshield, period, unless your vehicle is manufactured prior to 2017. So a 2016 or a 1908, you can have 3 inches of tint strip across the top. Okay. Let's see here. Are there police events where you socialize and talk to other departments or even out of province? Jabber's asking that question coming through Facebook. There are. I used to go down to Vegas for the Blue Knights Police Motorcycle Convention years ago. There are specialty training things and conventions when it comes to traffic safety, when it comes to social media. There's all sorts of things. I spoke at a conference called the Smile Conference that was held in Arizona earlier it was late last year. So there's different events. There's not so much social hangout things, but they are. There's memorials. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. COVID's really changed that. We don't generally get together now, but there are training opportunities.
Here's a question from chat that couldn't use the QA. Can I use my driving instructor's license if I get pulled over?
Can I use my driving instructor's license? You need to show your driver's license. Your instructor's license is for instructing and is not a driver's license. It's an instructing license. So, no, I wouldn't accept a driver's instructor's license. And you might want to not advertise that you are a driving instructor if you're getting pulled over for breaking the law. That might get bad for you, because why would you be left to instruct others how to break the law? Anyway, that's just me being me. Okay, 2-car speed. 1 car gets a warning while 1 is penalized. Yes. What's the question? 1 person could be rude. 1 person could be polite. 1 person could have been clocked at a speed that's below the threshold of the officer and is willing to give a warning, while the other person isn't. So I don't know. It could happen. There's no hard line. Tickets aren't mandatory. I don't have to write a ticket. It's discretion. Generally speaking, for me anyway, if I pull you over, you're getting a ticket. Is it legal to have a look-alike unmarked police car? If you're not putting yourself out for as a police officer, a look-alike, our unmarked cars are unmarked. That's like saying, can you have a gray car? Yeah. If it's unmarked, there's no markings that say police. As soon as you make it look like a police car, you could be potentially impersonating one. And impersonation's a problem. That's a way to get arrested. Do you give tickets to nurses speeding on call? I give tickets to doctors, nurses, anyone who's speeding, because they're not legally allowed to speed. We transport. So if a doctor who's required for an emergency surgery is coming in off a helicopter or a plane and they need a quick ride to the hospital because someone's on the table and they're going to die, we'll pick them up. We'll drive them to the hospital because that's what we do. And people who are just speeding, they're going to get a ticket. Why can unmarked cars have tint on windshield? They can't. We don't tint our vehicles. People keep saying we do. We don't. I don't know where you're talking about, but Toronto Police does not tint their vehicles. If it came with Tint factory, it'll be on the rear areas, which are legal, not because we've added them and not because they're on the driver's compartment. Yes, people from Nova Scotia would take particular exception to people driving fake police cars, and so would we. I'll run plates if it doesn't look right for police cars, and if it's somebody who is not a police officer, I want to know more about that person. So yeah, Ryan makes a very good point. What percent tent is legal on SUV front doors? 30%. SUV, truck, car. The windows left and right of the driver, 30%, but keep in mind that atmospheric conditions may make it so that you still get a charge for obscure interior vehicle because we have to be able to see in. So does the public. It's for safety. It's for a multitude of reasons. Can you explain the OACP and if it includes fit test? The Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police certificate, you're best to go look at it on the website. Things have changed so much, I don't know what the current is. So check it out. You can also go to our website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers for more information about becoming a police officer. Okay. Let's see here. Is cops plates same as civilian plates? License plates or plates? Yeah, we have the same stuff. There's no magic plates. The only difference is provincial police have a different type of sticker. We actually validate our plates. They have a sticker that doesn't require validation. How do I stunt on my property? You don't. Stunt driving is illegal on private property. You can no longer stunt drive. The only place you can perform stunts or things that would qualify for stunt driving is to do them on a track, a racetrack. Okay. We have, is it legal to lower my car? What are the rules? 1.5 inches lowering is my understanding for what's legal. At the end of the day, if there's any body rub, tire to body, tire to frame, if your suspension is not working properly, if your suspension changes dramatically, the tire patch, the contact patch from the tire, all of those things could deem your vehicle to be unsafe. If you're going to get it lowered, get it done professionally, make sure it's legal. Don't do the Amazon 3-inch up, 1.5 down, Neon confirms. Neon's a mechanic. And we check. We don't measure how much you're down from your original. We check to make sure body rub and or contact with the tire, any rub. And then even if you don't lower it, you just change the size, the dimension of your tires, and now there's contact, it's unsafe. You're getting pulled off the road, lose your plates. How much over the speed limit for a criminal offense? It depends. We get this question a lot, and it depends on whether or not, or what the jeopardy to public is. So if I see you doing 200 in a 100, I charge you criminally. I think it's worth it. I think it makes sense. It's unsafe for sure. Stunt driving is 150. You're so far above 150 that you deserve to be arrested. If you're doing 100 in a 50 zone, yeah, it might be criminal, especially if there's kids present. It really depends. And I won't blanket and say there's any which way because I may interpret it as more dangerous than the next person, and I may arrest you when somebody else might just give you a stunt driving charge. But to me, once you're in excess of that 40 over in a speed limit area of under 80 or 50 over in a speed limit area that is 80 or over, once you're significantly beyond what is covered by the stunt, and you can be charged criminally and charged stunt. So anyway, I'm moving on. Yeah, tire rub and camber. That's what Neon's saying in regards to lowering your vehicle or changing the dimensions of your tire. Can you find anyone by just a first and last name? Well, it's a place to start. Usually date of birth is important. Okay. Mad Hatter Mafia says, I have no fenders. I'm bagged. You mean you're a bagger? You have no fenders in your bag. You mean bagged air suspension? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. If your wheels stick out, can you be charged? You mean your tires, your wheels? Yeah. If they're improper, if they're protruding from your body of your vehicle, they should be covered by mud flaps and fenders. So an airbag suspension for the chap who was talking about their vehicle. Airbag, I believe, is illegal. It's not DOT approved. But I'm not big on that. I'm not big on that. Generally speaking, if you're not moving it up and down, I wouldn't know. Is driving without your physical license illegal? Well, you are a licensed driver, but if you're unable to surrender it upon demand of a police officer, you can be charged for failing to do so. You have to surrender your license upon demand. That's the actual card. So yeah, it is illegal if you're pulled over and can't surrender it. What happens if I outrun the Toronto police? Well, hopefully you don't run faster than the car that will be backing up the officer who's on foot. Ultimately, what are you talking about? You're just being silly. Is it illegal to accelerate aggressively? Potentially. It depends on the situation. The convoy in Ottawa, noise tickets possible? If someone's creating unnecessary noise, sure. Unnecessary noise, if you're creating it unnecessarily, is ticketable. Whether they enforce it, I don't know. Jabber wants to know, do I know what happened with Ontario trying to make licenses virtual? I think you mean the actual physical card electronic. And that was supposed to happen last year. They delayed it. Hopefully it'll happen this year. And that's where driver's licenses will be electronic, potentially. And you'll be able to surrender it by way of showing it on your phone. Assuming that you have battery charge in your phone. So always keep a charger with you. Was it hard to learn the phonetic alphabet? Absolutely not. It is so simple, and if you make a mistake, just use another word that starts with it because we'll figure it out. But we don't really use that very much. It's just when we're spelling things out. But you will, it's easy to remember. And there's a couple versions of it, but it's easy to remember. I have no fender because bags, it's all covered though. What kind of vehicle we're talking about? I don't know. Friend's question is the enhanced driver's license is in play. Enhanced driver's license program is canceled. You cannot renew an enhanced driver's license anymore. As far as I know, because I had one and they took it away. Okay, are drive centers still backed up? Yes, but they are reducing the requirements for testing to make it faster. They're 30% reduction in test time, so they're trying to get more people through. Is it legal to pass on the right? In a multi-lane highway, it's legal. You cannot pass on the right off-road. You can't go onto the shoulder to pass right. That's illegal. Why are mods bad? Well, illegal mods are illegal. Modifications that are legal and safe because they're legal, and the ones that are unsafe are generally illegal or contravene laws. So mods are not bad. Illegal mods are bad. Do you have to agree to a field sobriety test? Yes. Failure to comply with a demand by a police officer is an offense, criminal offense, and whether it be a roadside sobriety test, an evaluation by a drug recognition expert, or a breath sample or breath demand, all of those have consequences and criminal charges to boot. Are you allowed to have seats in the truck of SUV? Truck or trunk? If you have seats that came with the truck, they're there. If you're adding seats, the aftermarket, I don't believe you can do that. If you're talking about a pickup truck, you cannot have, that's not SUV anymore, but it's not permitted to put them in the back. So it depends on what you're talking about. Maybe you can specify or clarify your question. Say you're in Ottawa and the horns won't stop. I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying that people are being noisy in Ottawa? I don't know what's going on. I'm not following the Ottawa thing. Loud exhausts on motorcycles, safe or legal? Not safe. It's got nothing to do with safety. Loud pipes don't save lives, and they're not legal. You cannot be unnecessarily noisy. It doesn't matter if you're in a car, a truck, a plane. You're creating unnecessary noise. Well, plane, it doesn't fall into the Highway Traffic Act. If you are a moderator and you're being harassed, say hello. No, please, anyone who is in the chat, please know that our moderators are not police officers. They are volunteer members here to make things better for everybody. So please don't harass them because you will be asked to leave. We'll ban your account. We won't let you back in. We don't want to have to do that. Okay. We'll mute you first, and then we will follow up, and if it escalates, it's a problem. Okay, double yellow and double white lines, what do they mean? Well, double yellow suggests that neither direction should be passing. Suggests because lines on the road aren't enforceable unless there's a sign supporting that you cannot do, like the lines on the HOV lanes. There's a sign that says, do not cross these lines. Well, that sign is enforceable. The lines on their own are not. Double yellow means that the people on the other side of that line are going in the opposite direction. A double white means that the people on the opposite side of that line or lines are going in the same direction of you, and that's what they mean. What charges for passing on yellow line? None, because lines are suggestions, not enforceable. Why does amber light rule not apply to utilities? Utilities? The amber light rule or amber light says you have to, what are we talking about? You're talking about intersections, signals, traffic signals? If that's the case, it applies to everybody. Yellow means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. If you mean a blinking amber light, what rule is it that you're talking about? So please clarify. How loud of bass is too loud? Is there a number? Too loud is subjective. It's too loud. If I can hear it on the road, it's too loud, as far as I'm concerned. Your vehicle's stereo should be for you, inside the vehicle. As soon as it's for me, outside of the vehicle, I think that's too loud. There's probably a lot of leeway there, but that you shouldn't be creating unnecessary noise. While you like your music, not everybody else does. Okay. Is underglow legal? I see purple on cars. Underglow is not prohibited if it's confused by red, if it's visible to any direction other than just reflecting off the ground. You could be getting into problems from improper lights. If it's flashing red, you might be charged under intermittent flashes of red. Which one? Same person, same question. Q, what's the question? I'm now it's the same one as purple. Rakesh, we covered this already. Are harnesses legal? If you're talking about racing harnesses, no, they are not. They are not street legal. You cannot replace your OEM seatbelt with a harness. Harnesses, and we've spoken to professional racers about this. Harnesses are great on the track when you are wearing a helmet and a neck brace and you are strapped to that seat so close to it that you are glued and cannot move, and that usually requires a pit crew. And putting it on your car from Amazon doesn't cut it. Even if it's properly installed, without a pit crew to strap you in, it's not going to be as effective. They also have a lifespan that to be changed all the time. But regardless of that, they're not legal. If you want to wear one, you have to wear a seatbelt over it because that's the way. Neon, take care. Neon's got to take off. Okay. C. Page comes in and says, "Good morning, Constable Shapiro. Sorry for being late." No, there's no sorry required. You are here because you want to be here. And if you can't, you can't. Views on mandatory snow tires. I think it's great. It's not here, but if it was, I think they're beneficial. And but at the same time, like I have them on my personal vehicle and have since I had kids. I grew up never putting snow tires on. And my wife said, you must and shall put snow tires on. You are a dad now. And I don't know why I waited so long. It was the best thing since sliced bread. They're so good. And I endorse them personally. I think it's a good thing to have. Is it law? Not right now. In Quebec it is, but not here. Okay. Is it illegal to have colored fog lights? Yes, it is. You can only project yellow or white light to the front of your motor vehicle in Ontario. So colored lights would be, now if you're just putting them for display, you're not using them on the road, then having them installed isn't a problem. But once you activate them on the highway, you are committing an offense. Is a smoked plate cover legal? No, it's not. You can't obstruct or obscure your license plate at all with any covering, nor can you have it dirty. So if you're getting out in the morning and you can't read your license plate because there's gunk from the road on it, use some snow, wipe it off, because just having it dirty is a ticket for $110. Are car meets illegal in Ontario? Well, what's a car meet? Is it meeting people in a parking lot of a Timmy's, having a coffee and talking about the car and showing them what's under the hood? That's not illegal unless it contravenes any mandates in relation to COVID. But outside of the pandemic, no, that's not illegal. Now, are you trespassing? Potentially. If someone says leave, you got to. But is it illegal just because? No. But when people start doing stupid things behind the wheel and putting lives at risk in stunt driving, that is illegal, private or public property. I didn't blow in the breathalyzer. I am fine. Well, you committed an offense if you didn't blow in, and if the officer didn't choose to charge you criminally for refuse, then they didn't do the right thing, in my opinion. Because if you didn't blow after a demand, you committed an offense, and you should have been charged. So either you are full of it or something went wrong, but that doesn't make sense. I'm assuming that it didn't happen, or that you're not in Ontario. Actually, that would be Canada. No, I'm assuming you're not in Canada. Are chains allowed on tires? No, you can't have tire chains. They ruin the road, man. They ruin the road. You can't have studded tires if you are in the northern Ontario, but not in southern Ontario. Not allowed, and definitely no chains. Is there a plan to start free defensive snow driving? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, and just thanks, Q. For anyone who wants to know where you can live and have studded tires, you have to live in Algoma, Cochrane, Kenora, Manitoula, Nipissing, Perry Sound, Rainy River, Sudbury, Thunder Bay, and Temiskaming. I don't know. I keep saying I'm gonna practice that one word, and I never do. I want to talk about a survey. If this is ending today, actually, I got to blast everybody with this survey business. If you are watching and would be so kind as to take a screen grab of this. Let me make it so it's on both cameras. This is a fuzzy, what was it? Oh, a QR code that will take you and bring you to a quick survey, 2 minutes. Would love to know what you think of what's going on here on the channel. Would love to know what you think would make it better. So if you got time, please be so kind as to go there and check it out. Okay. Let's see what else. We're wrapping up here. We got 4 minutes to go. So if you don't already follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We like to answer your questions. This is all about you. We want to make sure that we answer your traffic and police questions so that you can make informed decisions on the road. You choose to break the law, you break the law, then you win the prize for doing what you do. However, if you want to avoid higher insurance, if you want to avoid problems and being pulled over, you might learn some stuff by hanging out here. What's the fine for 5% front driver's tints? Well, 5% means 95% light blockage, if that's what you're talking about. Those are unsafe. So you might find yourself losing your license plates and being told that you need a tow truck because the fine is $110 for obscuring the interior, but that's unsafe. And you're obscuring the driver's view out of the front driver windshield or the front windows left and right. And you can have your license plates pulled for unsafe vehicle on that because you would not pass a safety for having 5% front tints, front driver's seat tints. So tint is more serious than one might think. And I got to call an ophthalmologist. I want to talk to an ophthalmologist on our show and talk about how reducing light reduces vision. Because it does reduce your ability to see. You see based on the light getting through. Less light means you see less. And people argue, but I see fine. It's safer. No, it's not. Baloney. Okay. Why can't I drift on my own property? Because some people did some silly things on public and private roads, and the government said, we're not having this anymore, and decided to pass a law to protect property owners and to protect the health system and to protect people in general, even the people who are doing the silly things, because they get hurt. And that's why it's illegal, because people did some really silly things. It used to be that on private property you could drift. Now you have to go to a racetrack where they have paramedics on standby. Okay. Can you get a ticket for crossing double yellow line? No, you cannot, unless you're violating a sign that says you can't. The line itself is not enforceable. Accidentally drifting because of the snow, but enjoying it. Accidentally drifting is not drifting. That's called losing control. That could be, there could be charges related to that because you're not driving appropriately for the conditions. Doing it once or losing the back end is one thing, but once it's a pattern of behavior, and drifting is very much a pattern of behavior. It's not just losing the back end for a second. It's continuously driving in that mode for it to qualify, in my opinion. So I'd still charge you. You can discuss it in court. I wonder if Dr. Glaucom Flecken would come on. Really? Is that for real? I thought you were making up a name to make a joke. Ryan's giving me a suggestion for an ophthalmologist. If that's the case, I totally need that contact information. Okay. Let's see here. What about if there's snow or ice? I mean, can you lose control? Yeah, you can lose control, but it's not to drift intentionally. It's a very big thing, very different thing. Okay. Asking for the fourth time, light bar connected to highs. Well, it's the first time I'm seeing it. That's the first time it's showing up in the queue. People always ask, you're spamming if you've asked it 4 times. I would have seen it the first time, most likely. In any case, I've seen this answered already in the chat from Q. Why you're not, it's been asked. You cannot use a off-road light bar anywhere. You're allowed to have 4 lights wired to the front maximum, and that cannot include off-road light bars. They are not for street use. Okay. What's the exceptions a ham radio license has? Ham radio operators can use their devices under the Highway Traffic Act for, that would normally constitute distracted driving. So handheld communication device, if you're a licensed ham radio operator, you're exempt and can use your ham while driving. Other than that, I don't think there's anything. Okay. When is the right time or age to apply CP or RCMP? The average age of a police officer these days getting through is 31 years old. Is there a right time? Apply when you can pass the test. You never know when you can get when it's your time. There's no right or wrong time. Try. If they tell you that you're too young, try again later. Can I drive without a rear bumper? No. You need to have your bumpers. They're part of your safety equipment. Your vehicle's unsafe without them. Changes the dynamics of a collision if you're involved in one. I think the other person was full of it when he said it's the 4th time asking, because I'm scrolling through and I don't see that being asked at all, unless they were asking in the chat. Okay. Oh, in chat. Well, in chat, that doesn't count. That's not the first time they were asking. That was the first time they were asking in the Q&A. If they're not paying attention, that's on them. Okay. What is this? Is it illegal to have 5% tint on my truck because I'm to steal out of my truck? I don't get what you're asking, but no, you can't have 5% on anything because you can't have any. On the back windows, like the rear compartment, the trunk, the rear window, sure. You can paint that solid. That's no big deal. What is this? Just trying to find something interesting as we wrap the show. We're 2 minutes overtime, but I want to find a zinger, a big one, a bad one, an interesting one. Oh, let's do this one. What is the law about using a phone on a mount? Well, if that mount is in a motor vehicle and you are driving said motor vehicle, then it's illegal because you cannot use your phone while driving. Doesn't matter if you're holding it or not. You can press momentarily a button to answer or a button to hang up, and that is the extent of your use. If you do anything else, you're using it. The courts have determined even holding it in your lap without a mount, which I know we're digressing from we're going off the path here, but just putting it on your lap, even if it's not on, even if your hands aren't on it, just putting it on your lap constitutes use. Because you're about to pull it out and use it, or if it falls off your lap, you're going to grab it. So on your lap's against the rules. In a mount, if you're using it actively, phone, thumbs are active on the screen, that is use. Can't type a letter to mom. However, if it's in a mount, you don't touch it, it's okay. Use your dictation software. Use Siri or Google or whatever it's called on the other platforms. Just don't touch your phone. Now, if you're using GPS, people always say, well, what about GPS? Well, GPS is fine as long as you're not actively using it, which means you can have the display set to GPS mode. You can see the map. You just can't touch the map. You can't swipe the map. You cannot add a destination unless you're using voice commands. And that is it. Bixby? I've never heard of Bixby. Really? That's the attendant's name? Okay. Listen, it's that time. It is that time where we say goodbye for another day. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. My name is Sean Shapiro. If you don't already follow me, please do. You can also get me at VoiceoverCop on Twitter, Twitch. You can get me on YouTube. I've got an account. I just created a YouTube channel for VoiceoverCop just because I've got so much content there that doesn't really make sense to put here for YouTube. Then I'll put it there. So you can follow me everywhere. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Stay safe. We will be back tomorrow once again at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Have a wonderful day. See you, Croissant. Take care, Ryan. See ya, Estella. Thank you for the thumbs up and the everything. Much appreciated. All right, we out. Take it easy.